we're back. It's been way too long. It's been about a month, maybe a little bit longer. We don't have the full crew. It's been crazy. I've been attacked by killer bees in my backyard. I got this whole colony of bees. They're going after the dogs. I don't like it. It reminds me of a battle going on in the WNBA between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, which we were talking about off air before we started. But there's a lot going on. We got the NBA Finals just about to wrap up, the Stanley Cup Finals, which looks like a repeat of last year. We're going to talk about some other stuff too, some boringness in MLB. We're going to talk about how great this crew is and why we are the number one sports talk show in the world, hands down, bar none. You know, when the rest of the world is going crazy, there's wars, there's deaths, there's crime, there's protests. You can come here for the consistency you need in the sports you love. That's why we have, the instigator, John Shearer, who's going to be here in a second. John, come on in.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I mean, come on, with everything else going on in the world, who doesn't want to take an hour to decompress, talk some sports, have a guy that just needles everybody, John Shearer, and then whoever else is here with me, whether it be our producer, Jay, who's filling in tonight. Jay, come on in. Dave, who used to play in the NFL, Raphael, who's a gambling guru and odds maker extraordinaire, James Tatum, who comes in every once in a while. It doesn't matter who it is. I mean, by far the number one crew in sports. You don't hear about any layoffs like ESPN. You don't hear about, us backstabbing each other, because this one's column got more views or, this guy's team didn't win. None of us have any teams in the finals.
Well, to be fair, my teams don't win, so I don't got to worry about that.
None of these teams in the finals is anybody's team.
The Gators won. The Gators won it all a few months ago.
I know, but the pain of the
OKC
Dolphins
fan?
And the Orioles and the Hurricanes, falling apart every conference
this
finals, I'm used to it.
This is a bad year for the Orioles.
For almost all John's teams, yeah.
But seriously, who is an OKC fan? Who woke up, 2 years ago and said, "I'm a fan of the Thunder"? If you did, really, maybe if you live in Oklahoma, I'm all for you.
I would rather ask, instead of why are you a fan of them, why would you want to live in Oklahoma? That's what I would ask.
Right. That's question number two. But if you live there,
so questionable. Why would you do
but
that?
If you happen to live there, all right, you could be a fan. If you live in any of the other 49
because you got
states,
nothing else in Oklahoma.
Any of the other 49 states, why are you a fan of Oklahoma?
Tornadoes, so.
It still baffles me to this day that. And I don't know if David Stern had some long lost cousin or mistress or whoever that the state of Oklahoma got an NBA franchise before Las Vegas. Let that sink in.
There's a lot wrong with the world right now, and that's number one. Okay, because they used to play in this place called Seattle.
Yeah, they never should have taken them from that. Never should have.
The Supersonics. And if you were a Supersonic fan, you get some cred for this because you had the cool uniforms, you had a long history, and yet they took your team and they moved to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even understand that one.
I mean,
we're not talking about the New Jersey Nets moving to Brooklyn,
nobody cares about that.
from an outside area to, the biggest city in the world, but you moved to Oklahoma from Seattle?
You're talking about moving a franchise that had Ray Allen, Sean Kemp, and all these big names, and they moved to Oklahoma City, and the only big names that they've really had were KD, who's a big name, Harden, Westbrook, and now SGA. That's about it. I mean, you really haven't had anything.
Listen, I give them credit. The fans that are there are all in. But let's go to the other side. Who the hell is an Indiana Pacer fan? Have you met one outside of the state of Indiana? Because I haven't. And when I do, if it wasn't because Reggie Miller back in the day, why are you an Indiana Pacer fan? What lineage do they have? They were in the ABA. The Reggie Miller time, they were fun to watch. Right now, they're fun to watch. Why the hell would you be an Indiana Pacer fan if you don't live in Indiana?
And to be fair, I mean, they're in the same boat as Oklahoma. Like, why would you want to live in Indiana? So, I mean, I've driven through there once, and I never want to go back. It's like New Orleans. I never want to go back to that state. It's just
Bingo.
it's boring, and their stadium looks like the factory I work in. That's what their stadium looks like. It literally is like the ugliest stadium I've ever seen in my life. And I live
And,
near the Redskins stadium, and theirs is the second ugliest stadium I've ever seen. So,
The one in Orlando,
to make it even
oh, it's horrible.
to clear everything up even further, the NFL, right? You have the scouting combine in Indianapolis every year, right? Now, it could be for one of three reasons. One, it's the mid of the country, it's the Midwest, which
It is
isn't
the mid of
necessarily
the
true.
country. It's very much the mid of the country.
And
Very
if you look at a
mid-area.
map, if you look at the map and you go ahead and do it by miles, it's way further east than many other places. It's not even close to the middle of the country. Number two, there's nothing going on in Indianapolis, and you have that huge football stadium. And, since there's nothing else going on, you got some hotel availability. So I'm guessing that's why. Or number three, the NFL's just crazy. Like they do the draft, move the combine, spread it around,
No,
sprinkle some dust.
it's always been there. You got to keep it there. You can't.
The draft used to always be in New York.
It's like when they had it on. Yeah, the draft always should have stayed Radio City Music Hall. They never should have.
Actually, it was at MSG before that in the whatever they call
but
their
JB,
theater
some
now.
of us weren't born in 1945. Some of us grew up in the 90s. That's when we remember Radio City. So that's
it was still at MSG in the 1990s. It was at MSG till the 2000s, Sean. But it's okay.
At least Indianapolis has three sports teams, the Indiana Fever and the Pacers and the Colts, but they don't have a baseball team. I guess since Illinois is right next door, they kind of default to being Cubs fans. Speaking of which, Wednesday nights on the Sideline Sports Network, that guy on the bottom right who just returned on the air, he's hosting our other show, Cubfidential. That's Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm producing. We also got our guy Jacob Christner, and we also got our guy Nick Botkins. Shout out to him over there. It's all Cubs baseball all the time. Sorry, this was promo moment time. Just got to keep everybody on their toes. Cubfidential, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Do the Cubs have a legit shot at beating the Dodgers in the playoffs? Like, let's just assume the Cubs get to playoffs because it's been a great start. But baseball, it's a long season. It's only June right now, middle of June. So anything can happen. I'm not wishing bad upon the Cubs. It's just none of us really saw this coming. So if they do, personally, I don't think they should make a move at the deadline. I think whatever they got going on, the chemistry, the lineup, everything is working for them. So I don't think that they need to make, like one of the hosts, Confidential Jacob, had said, oh, they need to go and get help. Like, no, you don't. Just because you're really good doesn't mean you need to go get help. You have the pieces you have. Like, can they beat the Dodgers in the playoffs? I mean, I know we're kind of going aside, but
I'll make this quick for you, and we'll expand on it tomorrow. I'm sure that'll be a topic now because that's a great topic. They can because their starting pitching is legit. They probably have one of the best staffs in baseball. They do need to make a move at the deadline.
Maybe
they have
bullpen
to
help.
Bullpen help for sure. They have to do what the Yankees did in the 90s. And, since we have the rare opportunity to cover events, I did speak with the owner of the Cubs, Mr. Ricketts, when we were covering the Pat Hughes Hall of Fame last year. And I said the way he was building the team reminded me of the 90s Yankees. And I gave him a lot of credit for that. I said, stay that course. The Yankees had a great farm system, and they brought their young guys up. And what they did was they got little pieces and put them in, like Wade Boggs, John Wetland, and they brought guys in that were really good. Darryl Strawberry at the time when he was at the end of his career when you needed a bat. Dwight Gooden, who couldn't give you what he could when he was younger, but was a good spot pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
They brought the right guys in at the right time, and it helped. The Cubs have to do that. They don't want to go out and make wholesale changes. You're not looking for a superstar, but if you could bring the right guys in, their farm system's deep enough where they can make those moves, and they can go a long way. That starting pitching is legit. Bullpen needs some help. Their offense hasn't been doing anything, but they've faced every top-notch pitcher in the world. over the last couple of weeks. Skubal, kind of
Skeens.
Pirates, Skeens. The Pirates have a couple of good pitchers. They picked one against Wheeler last week in Philly. It's like every number one starter they've been going against, and they've been doing what they need to do. You win 2 out of 3 against teams you're better than, and 1 out of 3 against teams that are better than you, and you'll make the playoffs because you're better than most teams. But we're 10 minutes in. We've had some great talk. I know you missed us. It's been a month, but you know how we start. We start with the not so quick hits. So let's start with number 1.
Here we go.
All right. Fever guard Caitlin Clark returns from injury. Lights the Liberty up for 32 points. Will the viewership go back up for the WNBA? I'm going to start with this one, and I never start at quick hits. I don't care. I don't like Caitlin Clark. I don't know why anybody does. I don't get the appeal to her game.
What's so bad about it?
She has
Steph
some talent.
Curry. It's a female Steph Curry.
Listen, she has some talent. It's all good. But she's not the greatest thing since sliced bread. The WNBA has been around almost 30 years. There are women that can play. There wasn't this type of hype for Cheryl Swoops. There wasn't this type of hype for Lisa Leslie.
Well, that's
wasn't
because
this.
nobody cared about the WNBA. They barely care now.
And they only cared because they follow Caitlin Clark in Iowa. I don't get it.
That's the only reason anybody. I mean, it's no disrespect to the women, JB. I don't mean it in a bad way. But
I know.
If we're gonna be honest, the only reason anybody cares about the WNBA right now is because of Caitlin Clark, and because of Caitlin Clark, they're starting to find out about other players. You're starting to realize that they have those other players. But if Caitlin Clark wasn't around and Aja Wilson was doing what she's doing, nobody would care. Nobody would care about Paige. Nobody would care about Angel Reese. Me-bounds wouldn't be a thing. Like, nobody would care about any of this stuff at all if Caitlin Clark wasn't there. It's just facts. Like, I don't mean that in any sort of way, but that's the reason that everybody stumbled upon the WNBA and started to buy stuff. It's because her, and then they're like, oh, wow, I really like this Aja Wilson. I really like this blah, blah, blah. Like, that's just how it is. And that's not a bad thing. Like, guess what?
Oh.
Now you're all starting to get recognized, and viewership's going up, and merch is going to happen, and you're going to get a bigger CBA deal the next time around, and you're all going to get a big piece of the pie. So I don't know why anybody hates it.
Anything that involves Caitlin Clark, I'm out on. Jay?
It definitely will go back up, especially considering that when she got injured in late May and until her return, viewership actually went down 55% for the WNBA. Yep. Now she comes back. She drops 32, including a long bomb in Stewie's face. That was amazing. And they hand the reigning WNBA champions their first loss of the season. Yep. I mean, and you know what's so crazy? It is just something about, maybe because she's this humble kind of small town girl. I don't know. I can't say the whole thing about, that's a, white girl dominating in like a black dominated sport, right? Because we've had Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Breonna Stewart, you know what I mean? Yeah. So we can't say that. It is just something about Caitlin Clark. Like, she's got that good old fashioned hometown girl kind of feel to her. You know what I'm saying? She's not she's not brash.
And she's likable.
Yeah.
She's very likable.
See, I dislike her.
Worker.
I dislike her.
But she's likable. Like, she doesn't say anything that
the only thing I give her credit.
She just goes about her business and does work.
That's the only thing. The only thing I give her credit for. She does. She's not a.
But why don't you like her then? What if she's not?
Because I don't like the hype. There's too much hype for her. She's not Michael Jordan.
But it's not her.
I'm not buying in. I'm selling all my Caitlin Clark show. I'm not saying she is. I'm not saying she is.
I think another factor is that Caitlin Clark just seems relatable. It's kind of like with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, right? With Tom Brady, he's this great quarterback while he was playing. He obviously is the future great. He's decorated already. He's married to a supermodel wife. You know what I'm saying? Things that the average person would never even touch in their lifetime, right? And then you got Peyton Manning. Now, granted, yes, he made a lot of money and he's a pro athlete and he was a great, but he just seemed more relatable. You could have a beer with Peyton. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's the relatability also. Again, she's got that humble. Like if we would have run into her like during Super Bowl week next year or wherever, like
Yeah.
I don't see her just being all stuck up and just passing us up. I really think
And
that she would
listen,
stop off and take
She'd
a
be
picture with us.
sweet and
Yeah.
really
and
nice.
since
Yeah.
and since I don't have a horse in the WNBA, I hope she does well. I don't want to see her do bad. I hope she's as good as everyone makes her out to be, and she's even better. But I'm out on the whole Caitlin Clark thing.
But tickets for games that were obviously Fever games are really high priced. There were games when she was out that went down to $3 a pop for a ticket. $3. They couldn't give those tickets away to
So are
people
you saying
when she
she's the
wasn't
Michael
there.
Jordan of the WNBA? Because
I'm
that's what the
saying
fans are making it.
that's not what John said. Please don't put words in my mouth.
Oh, I'm
I'm just
asking you.
saying I'm providing you facts that tickets went down to $3 when she weren't
And
there.
don't you think that's a form of disrespect by the fans to the athletes of the WNBA?
It's just what I started my first monologue with. She is the reason everybody's interested, and everybody else
and when she's not there, they bail. When she's not there, everybody bailed.
But if it wasn't for her being there, there wouldn't be any chance to bail because nobody would even the tickets price wouldn't even be dropping because they'd already be $3
Do you understand?
Anyway.
Do you understand the point? Is when she wasn't there, they all left. So she's not really helping the league if
she's
they're only
carrying the
interested
league
in her.
single-handedly.
We're gonna, you know what? I want to bring this topic back long form next week because we're gonna have plenty of time because there's no more NBA finals, no more Stanley Cup finals. It'll all be over. There'll just be lowly baseball and WNBA.
Hey, football. We can talk football. There's a lot of stuff to talk about in football. We can
we're
always
gonna get to it.
talk football.
We're gonna get to it, but not this week. This week is no football. We're easing our way back in.
Get out of here, Raphael. Get out of here, Raph.
We're easing our way back into the fans' hearts. And they want to talk about what's happening tonight. All right, what's number 2? All right. Wow, it's the WNBA on Sideline Sports.
The
most we ever talked about them.
All right, the Sky female, my girl, Angel Reese, officially files trademark for viral term "me-bounds." Is this a smart move?
Can I go first on this one?
Please,
I'm going to let Jay go first. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. This was absolutely brilliant, and I'll explain why. So I don't know if anyone remembers, like, rapper Birdman went on a Breakfast Club, and he was like, "Hey, put some speck on my name," and everything, and became viral, and people made fun and everything, and then he filed a trademark for it to make some money. That is what you do. You turn negativity into cash. That is what she is doing. I think it was honestly a brilliant move, and the most important reason why this is a brilliant move is she better get all the money she can right now, because at the pace that she's playing right now, she's going to be out of the league in 2 to 3 years and on someone's reality show.
Or laying bricks at some construction yard. She's good at laying bricks. Look, this was a terrible move. I get it financially; it's a good move for her, but she clearly, like Kevin, she reminds me of Kevin Durant in the way of she cares what people think. Remember when Kevin Durant went on a burner account on Twitter?
Well, he's had like 80 burner accounts,
and he got caught. Somebody caught him. He slipped up, and he had said before, "Oh, I don't care what people think." And then he was on a burner account, caring what people thought. Angel Reese doesn't care what people think, but then she's taken the thing where everybody's making fun of her for, and she's like, "Yeah, let me trademark that and turn that into shirts." Well, guess what, stupid? People are going to wear shirts that make fun of you. They're going to wear the merchandise that's making fun of you. You trademarked something that makes fun of you. Like if JB said something about my big nose and made a shirt of it, I'm not going to go out and make merchandise with a big nose on it and it says John Shear on the top. Like, that's not going to happen because I'm not an idiot. Like, that would just be stupid to do that. Like,
Jay, we're gonna get the big nose shirts for John.
Like, why would anybody do that? I don't think she realizes. I get what she's doing with the cash aspect. Yeah, it's smart. But, like, I don't think she realized that everybody's making fun of her, and she's buying into everybody making fun of her. Like, that's just dumb. You never, ever do that. never acknowledge that the trolls are making fun of you. You just let them live in their basements with Cheetos on their shirts and on their noses. But now you're buying into it and they win and you lose.
John, let me explain something to you,
Stupid.
John. I got the killer bees out in the backyard. Day number 2 fighting them. Angel Reese is fighting the battle with the trolls. And what better way to beat the trolls than get paid? What better way to beat the trolls than get paid?
But yeah, because her salary is only $76,000, she's going to need it. I get it, but don't fight the trolls. Is my point. Kevin Durant did it, and he didn't win. You never win fighting the trolls as an athlete.
Making
Just
the cash.
Ignore them because they're never gonna go away.
John,
and guess
the
what?
price of gas is about to go over $4 a gallon.
What? People like me are still gonna say she looks like Sid from Ice Age. Like, you're never going to get away from the trolls. And yes, she does look like Sid from Ice Age. So you're never going to get away from that, no matter how much you try and
Now, would you say that if she was a male athlete, John?
Yeah, JB, have I made fun of male athletes before? You're
John,
damn
I just
right
had to do it. I just had to do it for those that think that
male athletes when we're at the Super Bowl and we see them, and I'm like, yeah, it looks like that. Yeah, of course I do. I have no filter.
John, sometimes I got to set you. Sometimes I got to give you a softball, John, and you got to hit it out of the park.
It don't matter if you're male, female. It don't matter what you are. I'm going to make fun of you, hook, line, sinker. It does not matter. I will put you on a bulletin board and I will make fun of you.
John is posterizing you. That's all I'm going to say.
Like, I will
He's posterizing you and you and you.
I will do what Shaq did to that white guy when he dunked and threw his junk in the guy's face and pushed him. It's one of my favorite clips ever. Like, wow. I will run you over just
John,
like that.
I don't want to know about your favorite clip ever of
that is literally the best clip you're ever going to see in the NBA. When he ran that guy over, pushed him out of the way, it was so disrespectful. Like AI stepping over Ty Lue. So disrespectful.
All right, let's get to number 3. I'm not even going to answer this one. Obviously, it's genius. Would you eat a mozzarella sticks coated with crumbled hot Cheetos? So I'm going to start with this one again. Jay has me quick to answer.
This is good.
Who the hell eats mozzarella sticks, first of all? They're garbage. Worst appetizer in the world. Worst appetizer in the world.
Have you forgotten your New York roots?
That there are way better mozzarella appetizers. Mozzarella Carros, which is like a little grilled cheese fried with mozzarella. Now that is a mozzarella appetizer. Mozzarella stick, that's like the ghetto version. I'm not in.
No,
I'm out. And hot Cheetos, I've never tried them. I've been intrigued. I was thinking about it, but I've yet to do it. I have to take the plunge.
Hot Cheetos, so I don't know how much that changes things, but it does change it a little bit. Because you're not eating the actual Cheeto. You're crumbling it up into, little
texture.
Yeah. So it changes it. But I would assume if you're making the mozz sticks and you're putting the crumbled Cheetos on top and it bakes in, so it probably takes away some of the hotness of the Cheetos, I would guess.
Would you do it, Joe?
No, I don't like hot Cheetos. I would rather normal Cheetos, but you know what? I would take a bite just to see what it's like. Because if somebody's gonna make something innovative, give me a bite and I'll try. As long as it's not seafood, because people that eat seafood.
We know if it swims, you won't eat it.
Yeah.
Very strange. Very, very strange.
So I actually eat them all the time. There's a food truck right up the road, and whenever I can, I'll go and order some. It's not spicy hot or anything like that. It just has the flavor. You know what I mean? It's innovative. It's not bad. I know East Coasters are very, very particular about their mozzarella sticks, or as JB puts it, mozzarella stick. One time I had the biggest. Okay, I've done this several times. Maybe I've gone on a limb to kind of start and mess with my East Coast friends on Facebook, and I'll just say, "Hey, I eat mozzarella sticks with ranch," and they're like, "Ew, gross! No, that's
not marinara sauce. Where's your marinara sauce?"
Yeah, no. I love marinara sauce.
Okay,
I've done it with both, and
it goes both ways.
Yeah, but no, like people from I've come across from like New York, New Jersey, like Pennsylvania, they were like, no, you only
You
eat it
gotta
with
go
mozzarella
mozzarella.
stick.
Yeah, you gotta go
And
with
With
marinara
and
sauce.
I can't do marinara sauce
What?
generally because I like homemade sauce completely better.
You don't like
But
marinara sauce. You
Jay,
don't like hot sticks. You are
Jay,
the
ask
Angel
go
Reese
when you go to
of
when you go to
sideline sports. You're
when
the
you go
Angel
to the
Reese of
food truck
sideline sports.
when you go to the food truck, ask them if they can make you mozzarella carouse. Tell them that's what you want. Forget the mozzarella sticks. We don't want those. Say, I know you're a food truck and you're innovative. Make me a mozzarella carouse. Say you heard it from the guy from New York that that's what I need.
Okay,
All right, and
gotcha.
trust me, it'll blow the water on a mozzarella stick. It doesn't even compare. I mean, night and day. All right,
Gotcha. Hmm.
enough of us talking about food. We did WNBA. We did John makes fun of everybody. This
We
is
haven't
what you
even
missed for
talked.
the last
We
month.
haven't even talked any real sports yet.
I know. It's a month of catching up. This is what it's like when you're here. It's like hanging out with your friends, or hanging out with great people like myself. But
There you
anyway,
go. There you go.
There it
let's
is.
talk a little NBA. The worst conference or the worst NBA finals in recent memory.
Mm.
As I said in our monologue, who were the fans in this series? Who was the Pacer fan? Who was the Thunder fan? Yes, I'll give you if you live in the city. I grew up in a big city, so listen, I like my New York teams. I grew up there, so I get it. And I'm a firm believer if you grow up in a place, you could be a fan of those teams. I don't get people that grow up and grow up in New York and become a Dallas fan or a Pittsburgh fan. You're a loser. But, you know, how many people live in Oklahoma City and how many people live in Indiana? And who was excited about this finals matchup? The MVP of the league, Mr. Giglius Alexander, and I'm probably not saying his name
He
right.
shouldn't have been MVP.
Just say SGA.
SGA, there you go. It
Listen,
makes you sound
was
a
he
little
like
bit smart.
the guy can play. I've watched him, but he's the least flashy. We're the time of the NBA where not being flashy is winning MVPs because Jokic is not
He
flashy at
should have
all.
been MVP. He should have
I
been
get that.
MVP.
I get that, but I'm just trying to make a comparison here of how these guys and they're really good players, but they have no flash. Jokic is boring as hell to watch.
No,
But
he's not. That guy can
John,
pass. Can throw a basketball through a keyhole, man.
there's
Like
no flash.
his passes are insane
There
for a
is no
big
flash
dude
to Jokic,
over
man.
7 foot, and he could throw a ball through a keyhole. Come
Well,
on,
I mean,
man!
he's
Like,
got that,
gotta be
kind of
impressed.
unconventional,
Listen,
like everyone just shoots a three like this, and he kind of does this overhead
the dude is
thing, like he's
phenomenal.
What's the
Best
guy
in the
in golf?
game.
What's the guy in golf that don't give a bleep about nothing? John Daly, is that him? The guy that smokes
Oh,
and
the
drinks.
drinker and smokes.
He don't give a damn, but he's good anyway. Like Jokic is that way. He don't give a damn. He drinks beers. He's fat. Hey, and he wins MVPs and he's a champion. Like that's
I just
awesome.
find it amazing. But
Like Babe
there's no
Ruth.
flash to his game, and SGA is the same thing.
I just want to see him pull Mark Sanchez and eating hot dogs on the sideline, like on the bench, just like
or
Mark
go
Sanchez.
or go Lynn Dawson and just light up a Marlboro during the
There you
game.
go.
Yeah,
Hey,
you want to be a real man? Do that.
In an
hey,
NBA arena. It's
listen. All I know, I've been in a stadium covering a game, and I've seen the coach or manager. I won't say which one because I don't want to give away the sport. Smoking in the arena or stadium, cigarettes. I was so baffled by it. I almost wanted to go have a cigarette next to the person.
Of course you did. I would have
How
guessed
how
that
cool would that
personally.
be? I mean, not that I condone smoking, but you're gonna
Oh yeah, you
smoke next
don't
to the coach or
definitely don't.
manager. I don't
Why not?
condone it.
Look
What
at
I
you,
do doesn't mean I
Jones.
condone it.
Look at you, Jonesing for one.
I, th-
Listen,
I think one thing I will say about this series though is I think what we are witnessing here is a changing of the guard, and we've seen this for the last couple of years. Is we are getting to the point where Curry and LeBron are no longer going to consistently be in the finals.
Yep.
Just like there was a point in time, Jordan wouldn't in the final. He just kind of retired, and then that was it, right? And then there was a point in time that Kobe and Shaq were consistently in the finals, and then that didn't happen. And then same with Tim Duncan, Spurs, and everything. That's what happens, changing of the guard in the NBA. And shout out to Jacob on this one because he actually sparked another thought when he said, two farm teams in the two small, not just small market teams. These are farm states. Okay, like you go to Indiana and Oklahoma, it's nothing but plains and farms everywhere. Two Midwest small market teams. The media hates that these two teams are in the postseason. They wanted the Knicks and the Lakers. That's who they wanted.
Yep.
They wanted the Knicks because of how they were doing. And
well, the market, the Knicks. I mean, the market. New York.
Too,
there's no bigger market than New York.
Yeah, and they wanted the Lakers because of the Luka trade. And then when both of them
and LeBron, LA, that market, LeBron, Luka, and New York with that market. That's a wet dream for them. And I mean, if you watch one of their shows from this morning, that one of their topics was talking about Dak Prescott's legacy instead of the NBA Finals, instead of the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Like, instead of all this stuff happening, let's talk about Dak Prescott. Like, that's how much they don't care.
So we're going to talk about – so instead of the current NBA – let me get this straight. So instead of the current NBA Finals, which is a good series, mind you.
It is a
good series.
Yeah.
It's actually a great series.
We're going to talk about the legacy of a guy who's never made it past the second round.
Yep.
Because the NBA Finals is one step away from being garbage TV, which is sad because
it's been good basketball.
It's been great, John. It's 3-2, and every game except for one has actually been close.
Yep, it's been great. Yeah.
And the Pacers came back from a 15 in game one, and and their only time they had the lead was with like 0.3 left or 3 seconds left.
But the series is over now. The series is over because Halliburton's not even probably going to play game 6 or 7.
Here's the next question.
Injury, so it's over.
But you know what? But question for you, John, real quick. Do you think that he's been a bit overhyped this postseason? Because I
don't think
absolutely
so.
not.
It looks
absolutely not.
That's a crazy question.
It seemed to me that, and don't get me wrong, he's their best player, but he was stifled to 4 points last night, and then there was other times he'd been held in check to like 14 and maybe 17.
He might be there.
I'll tell you this much: if the game is close, if the game is tied or the Pacers are down 1 and there's seconds left, give Zero the ball and move out the way, right? But other than that, is it arguable Siakam has been better, at least in this NBA Finals?
I think Siakam's been better the whole playoffs. And I've thought that the whole playoffs. I thought that in the finals. I thought that after they went up 2-1, I was like, if they win, Halliburton's automatically getting MVP. Like, they're going to give it to him. That was my opinion. It's kind of like Mahomes. Like, Mahomes got to get MVP if the Chiefs win. Like, in this, I know he's not Mahomes, but with the hype he's getting, the shots he's hit, I don't think there's any way Siakam is getting the MVP if they won and he didn't get injured. Like, if they win Game 7, just because Halliburton, everything he's done, I think he would get MVP. But I think Siakam deserves it. I think he's been their best player. I think he is their best player. I think he's better than Halliburton. It's just he's not as flashy. He's not a superstar. But look what he did on Toronto when they won that championship. It was all Kawhi. Everybody's going to look at Kawhi. But Siakam was an absolute animal in that playoff run. If it wasn't for him, they don't win that championship.
So two quick questions for you guys.
Game 2, he had 39. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jimmy.
So here's my two questions for you. Halliburton came from Sacramento. SGA came from the Clippers. Right now, if you're both those squads, you got to be kicking yourself in the head. I mean, one's the MVP. He's the MVP of the whole league. And the other guy has done nothing but hit lights-out shots. And I'm not even talking about Siakam in Toronto, but, how do you trade those guys? I mean, I get that the Clippers have Kawhi, they had George and all that. They were building a team, and he just wasn't fitting in with their plans. But are you stupid? Dude's the MVP.
I mean, if you think about, if you're asking that question, think about the Mavericks. And I thought
Jalen Brunson.
I thought this the entire time when I saw Jalen Brunson taking a back seat to Luka on that team. I'm like, that dude's a stud. Dude's a star. And I knew it watching him play. I'm like, it's just Luka dominates the ball, but that dude's a stud. He went to New York, and boom, just like Halliburton, just like SGA, like these teams don't know what they got, and then they go somewhere else and they thrive. So yeah, those are just stupid trades. Like
Yeah.
the
I
Kings
could
get what
It's
they
only.
crazy.
deserve.
I'm not
And
gonna
then my
say.
second,
Oh,
gotcha.
had the Mavs had kept Brunson, I mean, I still think they're kicking themselves for giving him away. But had the
He
Mavs had
walked
kept
away. They
Brunson,
didn't even trade him.
they,
He walked away.
yeah, they let him go. Yeah, they just let him walk. But and then the crazy part about it is why they let him walk? What, so they can save up to pay Luca, only to not pay Luca and he go to the Lakers. You know what I mean? So like
and
it's
and, and the Grizzlies got 4 first-round picks for Desmond Bain, and the Mavericks got 1. They got Cooper Flag, but they only got
Mhm.
1 first-round pick and Glass Joe at center. Like that was all they got for Desmond Bain went for 4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bane, the
it's
Bane
insane.
one. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Desmond Bain's
Desmond
not.
Bane.
He's
I
a
mean,
decent player.
he's a decent
Decent.
player. I mean, I think it's.
Not a
Is it fair to say that he was number 2 to John Morant's number 1?
No, no, no,
Probably.
no,
yeah.
no. You can't say that because I thought the same thing. Then I thought to myself, well, Ja was out for basically an entire season because of his gun stuff, right?
That is
Or it was
true.
like half a season. Desmond Bain had his opportunity. Then Ja got hurt. After the gun stuff, he got hurt. So Ja's been in and out of the lineup a lot. So Desmond Bain has had his opportunities to be the guy
The guy,
in
yeah,
Memphis, and we never saw him like take the reins on that. So I can't say, yeah, he's hiding behind Ja. Like he's had his opportunities.
he did.
Yeah,
He
not worth
he
four
did.
number one picks.
Hell no, not even worth 1.
No.
No, no,
Get
no,
him
no,
out
no,
of
no,
here.
no, no, no. No, what they gave up for him, that's what you would give up for, like, say, like a number 1 guy.
Yeah.
Bane's not a
Yeah.
number 1 guy.
No, not at all.
If you were trading for someone else's team leader that's young and hot, okay, cool. No problem. You're kind of going all in now. You feel like you got the other pieces. This is the missing guy. Okay,
Yep.
cool. But Bane at after John's commentary, at absolutes, maybe on some nights best is a number 2 dude. You don't give up that much for Bane.
Hell no.
I think he's a great addition, but you gave up too much for him.
Way too. Yeah, way
So
too.
here's my second question. So the final four in the NBA this year, we had Minnesota, the Knicks, and the 2 teams in the finals, the Pacers and Thunder. Are these teams built to come back next year and the year after if they stay fundamentally intact?
If you're going to me first, I think every team except the Knicks.
No, let's go to Jay. Of course.
All right. Every team except the Knicks. Of course, the Pacers, they have a really good roster. It's a really well constructed. It's not like anybody has to be the guy on any given night. As you see, it's really well-rounded team. Clearly, the OKC, Minnesota's really good. I think they have a Julius Randle problem. Whether they had Cat or Randle, I don't like either of them. Both of them are, in my opinion, I think they're cancers to their locker room. I think that they're more harm than good. And I think that they're liabilities on the floor at the worst times. So Minnesota has to get rid of Randall and then bring in somebody better at that spot. But I think Minnesota will be right back in the thick of right where they were. I just think the Knicks don't know what they're doing. Like they're the one. They got rid of their coach who got them to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in a long time. And they tried to get Jason Kidd and a bunch of other guys, and everybody's like, nah, we're good. We're not going to give you an interview with them. And now the Knicks don't know who to sign. You know what I mean? It's like you had something good, and it's so New York because you had something good, and then you're like, well, let's blow it up by getting rid of the coach. And now we don't know who to get as a coach, and it's so Knicks. So the Knicks are the only one,
That's fair. I listen, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm going to follow up to you after Jay goes.
I think I'm gonna agree with John on this one. Except the Knicks. I mean, because they have the personnel on the floor. Obviously, it's just who's gonna coach them next year. You got rid of Tibbs. Like, what were you doing? Like, that shocked me. But it's like it shocked me, but it didn't. Because it's the Knicks. The Knicks have always been a funny team like that. It's like they do something good. It's like, oh man, the Knicks are back. and then they do something bad, and it's like, well, that's why they the Knicks. They have the personnel on the floor to be right back in the Eastern Conference Finals. If
Do
I'm
they
being
though?
honest.
Do they though? Because ask yourself this: they got lucky with the Celtics getting hurt. I still think they win that series, but they got lucky with the injury.
They still would have won the series, but
They
you
got
said
lucky
it.
with
Go
the
ahead.
injury. They had a lot of things break their way, and then remember they were down by 20 plus points in both games 1 and 2 against the Celtics.
Right.
They got very lucky. The Celtics beat themselves. Like I think the Knicks got it's kind of like Washington this year in the NFL. I think they overachieved, and I think the Knicks maybe take a step back because they had all them crazy comebacks.
That's a fair assessment.
Like they had all them
I'm
crazy comebacks. It wasn't like they
So-
kicked ass every game in the playoffs. They had to like scratch and claw. That's great, but if that's your formula in the playoffs, eventually it's going to go the other way, and then you're out in the second round, not in the conference final. So
well,
here's what-
also to be fair, and I mean this is unfortunate to bring this up, but Jason Tatum blew his Achilles.
it's awful.
But you think teams aren't going to take advantage of that because this is going to be the time that Jaylen Brown has got to step up and carry the team while he's out, and it's unknown how that's even going to go. So if I'm the Knicks, if I'm the Cavs, if I'm Indiana, I have to take advantage of that. You know what I mean?
Agree.
In this league, you got to take it how you get it. You just do.
Yep.
Toronto did it.
Yep.
In this league, you just got to take it how you get it. It is what it is. Just because the star player
real
goes
quick,
down, you're not going to forfeit. But my bad. Go ahead, JB.
Real quick. So my follow up to John and you on the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's out there that Kevin Durant, another guy I can't stand, put him with Caitlin Clark, put him with James Harden. We don't need to talk. We don't need to mention these names. One of the 3 teams he's rumored to wanting to go to is Minnesota. Another one is John's team over in Miami.
No thanks.
I forget the 3rd team at this point, but if he goes to Minnesota, does that actually help them or hurt them to make the finals?
Nope.
Go, Jay. You can go ahead.
Because the Houston Rockets had been in the mix, and I had been loud and proud in saying
that was the 3rd team.
I do not want him in Houston. I don't. I do not want him in Houston. Listen, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, no matter the sport, you do not break up your core and give up half your farm for an injury history 36-year-old. You just don't do it.
With a giant contract, and you're probably giving up 4 first-round picks.
And a giant ego.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And so, no, I was totally against this from the get-go. I was like, no, there's no way to, like with the Houston's core, well, who we got? We made it to, the 2nd seed in the West, and then we went 7 games with the Warriors, So, I mean, let them stay together, let them grow together, and let them go win together. Don't go splitting up, your core to go get somebody who, first of all, it's unknown if he's even going to play a full season. Yeah. Second of all, it's unknown how much longer he's going to stick around in basketball.
Yeah. Well, also not only that, but I mean, think about his history. He got to the finals when he was real young with OKC. Got his ass kicked by us. A toe on the line with Brooklyn. Otherwise, should have been the finals. Other than that, he had to join a 73-win Golden State to win a championship. Other than that, when he was the guy in his entire career, he's won 0 championships. He had to join arguably the greatest regular season team in the history of the NBA to win his title. To go and get titles, he had to go and join that. Because on his own, with OKC, with Brooklyn, with the Suns, he should have done something with the Suns, with Booker and Beal. That's a hell of a trio. He's never done anything as the lead guy. He won finals appearance outside of Golden State. And I wouldn't say he's the lead guy in Golden State. I would say Curry was the star that
was Curry's team.
That was Curry's team. He's, was so. I don't want that because to me, Kevin Durant's an amazing player, he's a Hall of Famer, but he's not a winner. And I don't want a guy that's not a winner, at his age and his history. If he was 25, sure, but he's 36.
What's your burner account, John, on X?
At KD35.
I hate seafood. 17.
me bound 10.
There you go. If you see me bound 10, that's all John Shear, guys. We expose the burner accounts here. The number one place for burning the burner accounts here on Sideline Sports. But
My
all right.
profile picture, just look for Sid from Ice Age. That is my profile.
So, all right, real quick. The Thunder lock it up at 6, or we go in 7?
It's over.
Jay?
I somehow think it goes 7. I think they find a way to pull it off in Indy.
If Halliburton's not playing, which he has a serious calf injury, they have no chance.
Listen, OKC is the better team. This has been an entertaining series, but it's over. Raise the flags. Good season by Indiana. They progressed, and I think that they can come back next year and get back to the finals with the Jason Tatum injury. The Cavs are paper good, but come playoff time, they got destroyed. So, I like the Pacers. But I just don't think it's their year. OKC's got the MVP. No flash, but they'll get a championship. All right, let's talk some Stanley Cup. This is another phenomenal series. Game 1, overtime. Game 2, I think it was double overtime game 1 or double overtime game 2.
2.
It was one of them. And then, game 3, the Oilers were in left field, still on the plane. The Oilers came back and won a thriller in game 4 after they gave up the lead late. Game 5, they didn't show up again. So now it's 3-2. All the games have gone over on the betting line.
Of course.
My friend has a huge bet on the over tonight. I'm hoping that there's a lot of goals for him. What do you guys think of the series? I mean, this is the greatest playoffs in all of sports here. Jay, I'll start with you.
Panthers are up 2-0.
Yeah, Panthers are up 2-0 in the second. The Oilers have been resilient, but I mean, right now they are really, really being put to the test. And let's see how this goes, because to come back from that game that you mentioned, what was it, game 4? The first period, like scoring frenzy, Florida, right? And then the second period, scoring frenzy, Oilers. Then the third period, middle of the third, Oilers take the lead. 4 unanswered after going down 3-0. Then with 19 seconds in regulation, Florida ties it. And then in overtime, Oilers put it away. And mind you, this was a rematch of a series last year where Florida was up 3-0 in the series. Edmonton walked them down and then lost by 1 goal in game 7.
Yep.
That probably should be up there as one of the best Stanley Cup finals. It just should be, We'll see what happens tonight. Right now, it's looking like Florida, just when Canada thought that they'd be salvaged after 32 years.
I tried telling them.
Unless there's a bolt of lightning out of the sky in form of a miracle, it looks like Florida's going to repeat.
John?
JB? No, you go ahead. I have something
All
to
right,
say to you when you're done.
Uh-oh. Listen.
Uh-oh.
We talked about, OKC, and we talked about Indiana. Why the hell is there hockey in fucking it's Southern Florida?
Oh my God!
Oh no, he said fudging.
Not on the radio.
He said fudging.
But seriously, come on.
Is that you, Dom?
What the heck?
Dom, is that
What
you?
the heck?
The ghost of Dom DeRubis.
Wow. It only took like 4 years for my first slip up. I'm impressed. Here it is first. Return to the airwaves. We got the FCC on us now. Anyway, seriously though, why is there hockey in Southern Florida? And yet, Central Florida was really good a couple of years back. Now Southern Florida.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting. Good for the Panthers, bad for the Oilers. Do you break up the Oilers is my question if they can't get this done, which they're down 2, it's still hope, but you break this team up because they have so much talent, but if you don't win the cup, what have you done? Nothing.
You've gotten back-to-back Stanley Cup final appearances.
And that's not easy to do.
Yeah.
It's really not.
So
What do you do
why would you break that up? You just said Indiana's got a good young core. They get to go back, according to you, to finals next year, and you don't break them up. So why break up Edmonton?
First time there, you don't get it done. You get to go back. Second time there, you don't get it done. You got to figure out what you could do to get over that hump, John.
San Francisco went to the Super
Bowl.
Bowl twice against the Chiefs. We didn't break them up. The Bills went to 4 straight and lost, and you didn't break them up. Like,
John, you got to figure out how to get over the hump, John. They're not doing it. What do we do?
That's true. I'm not saying you get better goaltending, first of all. They need a goaltender because you can't be giving up, be down 3-0, and then you get 4 goals, and then 19 seconds left, you give up a goal the fourth of the game. Like, your team shouldn't have to score 5 goals. Your team shouldn't have to be the Cincinnati Bengals offense in order to win games, because that's clearly what Edmonton is. They're the Bengals of hockey. Like, they got to score 5 goals to win because they have absolutely no defense. Shout out to the Bengals. You're going to have to score 57 a game this year to win, because every game's going to be a shootout, and that'll be fun for fantasy and the NFL. But yeah, like, they just get better goaltending because their goaltending sucks.
Listen, all I'm going to say is I want to really tell you how bad the score app is. So I didn't have a chance to watch the game where Florida tied it up and went into overtime. I believe that was game 3, right? Was it game 3 or 4? I forget what game it was.
3.
The one where Florida tied it up with 19 seconds left. It was game 3?
4.
Game 4? Yeah, I was doing something. I forget what it was, but I looked on the app and I saw it was a 1-goal game. And I'm watching the score to see what's going on, to see what's time's left. The damn app said the game was final. And here I am all happy. I'm pulling for Edmonton. I don't like the Florida Panthers. They are a great team. I don't like them. Put them in the bucket with Caitlin Clark. Not a fan.
I don't know what you have against.
Biggest hater award, man.
But listen, what I don't like, I don't like. I'm all good. It's like John and seafood. Give John a lobster. When John eats a lobster, I'll like the Panthers. Okay? The app said the game was final. And I said to my wife, I said, Deb, great news. Edmonton tied up the series. No sooner, 10 seconds later, I get a text from somebody saying that, did you see that? The game is tied. We're going to overtime. I put my head down. I said, no way. The app said the game was over. Could you please get the scores right? That's the only job you have as an app that gives you scores, to get them right.
Right.
But anyway, that annoyed the hell out of me. But great series. The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs are the best playoffs in sports. Anyone that disagrees does not know anything about sports. If they're telling you anything different, turn the channel. Speaking of turn the channel, we got one topic left. We got 7.5 minutes. This is the greatest sports show in the history of sports shows.
By the way, what I want to say, I'll wait for Dave next week, because Dave is really the one that deserves to get called out. So I'll wait until he's back. Then I'll call him out for him being wrong and me being right. Tried telling him.
There's a first time for everything, ladies and gentlemen.
He said resiliency doesn't score goals. Resiliency doesn't win games. Goals do. Well,
John, and we've been told hard work doesn't mean anything. So we all know that we all know certain things.
I want to throw it in Dave's face whenever he comes back, which I like to do.
Yes, Dave, hopefully you're having a great time with your family. We miss you. We love you, Roth. Hope you're doing well. Guys, I know we'll be back before you know it. But speaking of back, we're almost at the All-Star break. We're getting towards the end of June. And MLB is littered with big market teams in first place. We got the Yankees. We got the Mets. So that's just one big city. We got the Cubs. We got the Tigers. There's 3 and 4.
Oh my.
I don't even know who we have in the West, because who cares? We don't like the Dodgers. Listen.
If the Cubs are in the West?
No, the Cubs are in the Central.
Well, you know what I mean.
Cubs in the Central.
Well, I meant that. NL. That's what I meant.
And then we got the good old
Detroit, Houston.
Yeah, out west we got Houston, which is another big city, but we don't really like Houston. Houston's going in a worse pile than any of them. And the Dodgers, of course, because why would there be anybody else?
We all knew this was coming for Houston. They got rid of Bregman. We all knew this was happening.
So no sooner than I trashed the score app, John, no sooner than I trashed the app, they're having technical difficulties. Go figure. Anyway, so
first time in a long time you were right.
6 first place teams, all big, huge markets. Is this a problem for the MLB? I'll start with you because you're a big baseball guy like myself.
It's not going to matter because those teams can't keep those players. The small market teams can't keep those players. They'll eventually give them up, like the Rays or A's or anybody like that. That whenever they have good players, you got to get rid of them, give them to the Dodgers or Red Sox or Yankees or somebody like that. So no, it's not a problem for the MLB. I think MLB should get a salary cap. Until they do that, the MLB is never going to be taken serious like the NFL and NBA are. So that's just me. But it doesn't matter. Those players, Skeens, guess where he's going to go? He's going to be a Dodger, or a Yankee, or a Red Sox in a couple years. Whenever they trade him, whenever that is, whether it's this year, next year, eventually he's going to be a Yankee or something like that. And that's just how this works because that's how baseball's designed. Keep your big market teams as the focal point, and we don't care about small market.
Jay?
And you kidding me? This is this is the media's wet dream right here, because Lord forbid the Colorado Rockies win the World Series. You know what I'm saying? But no, this is exactly what they like. Both, and then you got to think, you got at least one LA team, right? Then you got both New York teams. So to them, they're like, hey, all right, hey, maybe we'll get a repeat of next year or something like that, maybe Houston will be back. Maybe, you got Detroit, they're up and coming and everything. But as far as the smaller market ones, unless there's some drastic I'm looking at right now and St. Louis, okay, they're in the middle of the division. Reds are below them, Pirates are below them. According to, the powers that be at the media, everything is going according to plan. Because, even if you look at the NL East, like if the Mets don't win it, it's looking like the Phillies would, you know what I'm saying? Which is a large market. So, this is the year of the large market. You know what I mean? I think I can see Detroit taking the AL Central. They're the MLB.
They're not a big market MLB team. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, but it's a big city.
It's a major
big city, but
yeah.
as far as if they're not a big market in MLB standards.
No, not at all. Not by far.
And
also
sports in Detroit are not big market anyway. Even though we know it's a big city, that's not a big market sports wise. Like the Lions aren't a big football market. The Red Wings used to be, but they aren't anymore. The Pistons definitely aren't. Like Detroit's not a big market sports place. It's just not.
Yeah, listen. I think it's a bad look for MLB. I'm not saying you want parity like you have in college basketball, which is starting to change now because NIL it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Where there's no parity again. But you need to have some of these teams involved. You can't have Kansas City never play well, Cleveland never having a chance. Texas, it's just boring. I don't know. I'm glad to see the Cubs are doing well. But when you put the Rockies and White Sox wins together and they have two more than the Detroit Tigers combined, there's a problem. There's issues. MLB's got a major issue. They lost their ESPN contract because their new rules and new things and new jigs or whatever you want to call them, they're not good. Well, John, let's throw an invisible runner on second base because why not? We played 9 innings. So let's alter the way the game goes the rest of the day. And then somebody gets to win a fake game for 1 inning. Get out of here.
That
what are you
rule
doing?
never makes sense to me. But they want the game sped up. That's what they want. It's like 2.5 hours. That's it. You can't go to the bathroom. You can't get food. You can't get drinks. You do that before or after the game because if you try and do it in the middle of an inning, like after a team is done batting, boy, you're going to miss it. Probably the next half of an inning, maybe. If it's in New York, you're probably missing half the game if you try and go to or Dodger Stadium. You're probably missing half the game if you try and go to the bathroom or get food. That's how quick they're making the game. And that sucks because it's when you go as a fan, you're I always enjoyed in between innings. Hey, let's go get a pretzel and a drink. Yeah, we have time. Now you don't have any time. You're going to miss the game, which is only 2.5 hours now.
Yep.
So real quick before we wrap up, Who is your favorite MLB player and why? Start with you, Jay.
Favorite MLB player? Are we talking right
Yeah,
now or
currently,
all time
right
or
now,
what?
right
Right
now.
now? Right now? Ooh. Whew. Right now. Who's really making some noise?
Not who's making some noise. Who's your favorite player or why? If you have
Right.
to think about it, they ain't your favorite player.
That is just on the spot. Outside of you know what? Outside of my team, I
He
would
does,
have to
he doesn't
say,
have a favorite player. That's what you just told me,
Doesn't.
John.
Doesn't.
yeah.
Yeah, give me the mountain, Felix Batista, man. I mean, that guy's the best closer in baseball. He is an absolute monster on the mound. You do not want to face him throwing about 100 miles an hour, and he's like a giant. He's like Randy Johnson, but right-handed and at the closer position. So yeah, give me the mountain, Felix Batista on the Orioles.
Nice. Now we're talking. John picks his hometown team. Boo. Boo.
You said I don't know what you're like. Oh, Jay hesitates. Up, he doesn't have one. Oh, you picked one right away.
Did you
Oh,
pick
it's your
you
favorite
pick
team.
somebody?
No, no. Like, come on. You didn't
No.
give these rules, these baseball unwritten rules to us beforehand.
Listen, I'm going to give you somebody, and he's phenomenal. Paul Skeens, great pitcher, phenomenal player. He's right now my favorite player, other than people on my team. I don't want to pick somebody from the Yankees
What about
or the
Pete Crow
Cubs, who I
Armstrong?
gravitate. I don't want to pick somebody from the Cubs because I gravitate towards them since I host Confidential. So I purposely picked somebody outside of the two markets. And I'll be honest with you, it was between him and Scooble because both of them are great young pitchers. I hope we get to see them for a long time, be healthy, because
Yeah.
both of them can dominate the game for years to come. Great, both of them fun to watch. So that would be my two guys, but I'm gonna go with Skeens as number one. Jay,
Okay.
redeem yourself. You got somebody?
All right. All right. I would say if I'm going outside of my team, I really like Francisco Lindor and his and and what he's done to kind of bring the Mets back and everything. He keeps them in the ball game. He keeps them in contention. So I do like what Francisco Lindor is doing out there in Queens. So and if I go with my team, I'm gonna go with Jeremy Pena.
Well,
Uh,
obviously, if I go with my team, there's only one guy right now. It's the judge. He's unbelievable.
is
He's
insane.
MVP. I don't know how he's gotten so good. Why people pitch to him. I don't get it. There's always a base open. They walk Barry how many times? Why you pitch to him? But anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. We're back. I know you missed us. You missed John and
It's
his
true.
big nose, as he says, which
Thank you.
we've never noticed, but he says he has a big nose.
It's from
So who am I to
playing.
argue with him?
It's from playing sports and getting hit in the nose in sports a lot.
I said, who am I to argue with you, John? You say you got a big nose. You got a
I
big nose.
I can't deny it. I'm not
The
Jewish.
the
I'm not Jewish though. So
the
I'm
number
not
one
Jewish.
producer, the number one producer at all of sports radio, Denzel Snipes, otherwise known as Jay. Dave on assignment, vacation, enjoy. Roth on assignment, probably working on 30 things at once.
His PTO
Great
is
job,
almost
Roth.
up.
He listen, the man put in a new bet for me bounds. I'm all about it. Store on Facebook. Don't think I don't stalk Facebook, Roth. I got you. Me bounds. And of course, your host, myself, JB Ellis. You caught me slipping up tonight. First time back in a month. I used one of those words. Thank God we're not live on radio, or I'd be paying the fine. I'd give the bill to John, but that's besides the point. But we are out of here. Like, subscribe on Facebook. We will see you next week. Who's going to be give our famous goodbye? Jay?
You know what? All right. I'm going to end this with a bit of a message. I won't be long at all. Due to recent events, if you guys watch the news and everything, there is a lot going on right now. A lot of things that are dangerous, a lot of things that are deep, and a lot of controversy, a lot of things that make you mad. All you got to do in times like this is just kind of keep your heart, keep your friends and your family close. Never hesitate to tell someone you love them because you just never know. It's getting pretty thick outside, so everybody stay safe. We got a new fan. Shout out to Tasha. And Dave, this one's for you. Ho, ho, ho! Be great humans, and we will see you next week.
Sound like a Muppet.